Live. We're on the air. Okay. Hey, everybody. How you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. How's it going today, everybody? Welcome to Friday. We made it to Friday. Today is January the 26th, 2018. Of course, I'm reading it off my sheet. You know, I do this every day. I have to read this off my sheet. It's a habit of mine. Thank you for joining me on my channel today called Traveling with Bruce. If you've never joined this channel before, you're watching this like tonight, you know, January the 28th or something, or next week. You had one too many and you hit the wrong button and you ended up here. Well, first of all, welcome to Traveling with Bruce. The world is not ending, but, you know, it's an entertaining world in which we live. I just want to say that the channel is doing great. I haven't done with my phone right now. I'm watching myself on this thing, and I wanted to do what it's supposed to do, which is actually be my monitor for my chats. There it is. Okay, I got it back going. Oh, God, it's not easy. It used to be so easy. It's not that easy anymore. My channel is all about traveling, just so you know. If you've never joined me before, I talk about trips that I've taken over the years, places I've been, people I've met. So I have playlists on cruising, on going on a cruise, and how you can get a good deal to find a cruise, and repositioning cruises, and what to do when you get to the cruise, how not to spend too much money when you're on the cruise ship, what to bring with you before you even get on the cruise ship to save you a bunch of money when you're on the cruise ship. A lot of that kind of stuff. I do these live streams every day, Monday to Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and also Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern. And I always say to everyone who's watching, welcome aboard. And if you're just catching me now, you're watching me live, just tell me where are you? Where are you right now? Where are you watching me from? Are you in Florida? You're in Orlando? Or are you in Manchester, United Kingdom? Tell me what your high temperature is going to be today, because I'm telling you right now, I'm in Creston, British Columbia, Canada, 3 miles north of the U.S. border, and Idaho is just over here. And today it's a gorgeous sunny day. We got about an inch of snow last night. It's all gone today because it burned away. We're hitting a high of about 40 degrees here in Creston today, but I know I'm not the hot spot because I have viewers of mine that watch me almost every day who brag about how warm it is where they are. So if you are in Orlando or in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, or Vegas, or Henderson, or LA, just say hi and love to talk to you. You can ask me questions about cruising all you want, traveling all you want. I'll try to answer it on the spot if I can. If I can't answer a question for you about a cruise line, about a cruise ship, then we'll get back to you. Or what could possibly happen is one of my other viewers who's watching, I got some cruisers here who like to follow what I'm doing. They kind of keep an eye on me, I think. They may be able to step in and help out. So good to know, okay? Yesterday at this time, I closed out the show yesterday with 380 subscribers. And right now I'm at 391. So 11 new subscribers have come on board in the last 24 hours. Thank you, new subscribers. Welcome. I know I've been begging you folks out there to help me out, to help me find subscribers, because YouTube has changed the rules about what it's all about with monetization. I'm noticing some folks are coming in. Crash 3X is here. Hi, how are you doing? Paula K is here. Hi, Bruce. On a slow warm up in Hanover, PA, we're up to 50 degrees. Yeah, that's an improvement. Mirage 580 is here. Panama City, Florida. Welcome, Mirage 580. I think you're new. I don't think I've seen you here before. Fantastic. A high of 68. You're the leader right now. Way to go. Fantastic. Anyway, the YouTube people, about a week and a couple of days ago, they changed the rules on how to become monetized. And for my regulars, you know what I'm going to say. You've heard it before, but for those of you who are finding me for the first time, and most people who watch my videos have never seen me before or are finding me for the first time, just to let you guys know, I'm a small YouTuber because I haven't got thousands of subscribers. I've got 390 right now, 391. I want to become a large YouTuber, but it's going to take me a while to get there. But the channel is growing wonderfully. But the deal was that you used to just have to have 10,000 views on all your videos combined, and you would be monetizable. And I did that back in March. I started this channel in August. I started this channel in August, and by October, I was monetized. So October, I became monetized, and I thought, okay, well, now I can just build my views, and build my following, and build my minutes, and do everything YouTube is telling me to do to grow this channel, and the advertising will come. And it did. The first couple of days, I got 8 cents. A couple of days later, I was getting 12 cents a day. Then it was up to a quarter. And then I got it to like the 50, 60 cent range. Ooh, 50 cents a day. I'm making 50 cents a day. Then I broke $1 for the first time in November. Then as the month went, I was starting to hit $1 almost all the time. Then in December, I started breaking $2. Then I started breaking $3. Oh, this is growing great. And I have 200 subscribers, 250 subscribers. And I got to, I think it was around 240 or 250, right in that range, or maybe even less than that. And then they lowered the boom on us and they said, party's over. YouTube said, you little guys, party's over. Forget about those $2, $3, $4 a day you're making. No. Now we have new rules. Starting February the 20th, you have to have two things. Forget about the views. We don't even care how many views you have. It doesn't matter how many views you have. We want two things. One, we want you to show us you have 4,000 hours of watch time over the last year. 240,000 minutes is what that means to me, because I'm a minute guy. Good news. I am 1 day away from getting that. I will be doing that tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I will hit 240,000 minutes by tomorrow, January the 27th, with 3.5 weeks to go. So by the time February the 20th rolls around, I could be at 350,000 minutes. I'll be way past the mark. No problemo. If that's what all they wanted from me, it'd be great. But no, sadly, there's another thing. They now want us to have 1,000 subscribers. That is a huge leap up. That is a massive leap. 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 minutes, not either or one or the other, both. So I have been pleading with my my loyal viewers, friends, relatives, and anyone that is dumb enough to bump into me on the street to where I could say, hey, have you been watching my channel? Are you a subscriber? Tell all your friends, please jump on board. So I have been begging people, and I'm on Twitter trying to get things going, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. And this is my life. This is unfortunately what I have to do to be doing this. I'd rather just be concentrating my time on doing this, just doing my live stream every day, popping out a couple of videos here and there, and talking cruising, because this is what I love to do. But no, from now to Feb 20, I have to focus my whole world on subs along with doing this. So my workload has kind of gone up. And I got to say thank you to my subscribers and my followers, because when this came down, I think it was at 240 subscribers. Now I'm at 391 in a week. It's 150 subscribers in like a week and a bit. That's incredible. It took me until December, from August to December, to get the first 100 subscribers. 100 I got in December, I think 13th or 14th. Now I'm at 391. I'll hit 400 by tomorrow. The way this is going, that's unbelievable. But I got to get 600 more. And so I am really hoping it'll happen, and crossing my fingers. If it doesn't happen, people say to me, what happens? What happens? There's people out who are intimating, oh, if I don't get it, they'll kick me off. No, you don't get kicked off YouTube. YouTube loves creators like me. I'm working my tail off for free. I don't cost them any money as far as a wage is concerned. They're paying money to broadcast me, of course. They're paying money to handle the systems that allow me to do what I do. Of course, YouTube is great. They promote me, and I do all my tag words and my keywording, my search engines, and video recommendations and suggestions. I mean, YouTube does a lot for guys like us. If we put the work in, they give us rewards back. But I have to keep going. So if I only have, say, 650 subscribers on the 20th of February, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm not stopping this. But I will hit 1,000 subscribers shortly thereafter, I hope. And as soon as I do, they then will allow me to reapply to remonetize myself. And I'm not sure yet if they do that automatically. I'm waiting for more clarification from some of the other folks who know YouTube much more than I do as far as the inner workings of YouTube. So I'm waiting to hear that to find out, well, is it automatic, Bruce? It doesn't matter. You've got your minutes. Now you've got your subscribers, and then they'll just automatically remonetize you 4 or 5 days later. Or is it a nightmare scenario? Now, a human being or 3 or 4 human beings on a little committee have to actually approve these YouTubers. I don't know. I can't imagine that because of the millions of us that there are. I have to think there are 20 to 30 million YouTubers, maybe more. I know that when I first started my channel and I reached about 5 or 10 subscribers, I was the 16th millionth largest channel for subscribers on YouTube. 16 millionth largest. Right now, I'm at 4.2 million. Right? So even with 380 subscribers, There are 4.2 million channels that have more subscribers than I have. That's how many there are, folks. And that's the competition I have to get your eyeballs to watch what I do and follow me, please. So I have to work. I got to get you something you want to watch. Otherwise, I'm toast. So anyway, I'm having a feeling that by the time I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll be down to around the 2.5 million mark. I'll be one of the 2.5 million. That means 2.5 million channels will be monetized by YouTube. But right now, I bet you there are 9 million or 10 million channels that are monetized right now. So YouTube is dropping 8 million maybe channels from monetization. This is why this is such a big deal for those of us who are tiny. It's like being kicked out of the club. And anyway, I'm hoping I don't run into that, but we'll see. We just have to go one subscriber at a time. And I think every subscriber that's coming on board, you have no idea what you mean to me. Actually, you do know what you mean to me. You see me thank you every day. It's fantastic. Okay, who else is here? March 580 from Panama is here. Karen Lipson is here. How you doing, Karen? Wes Morrison, hello from New Braunfels. Wes, I think you've told me where Wes. Oh, here it is. Yeah. New Braunfels, Texas. That's right. Sorry, I just have to read the next line. Sorry, Wes. I'm just so focused on the first line. I didn't realize you're telling me where you're from. Of course, in Texas at 68 degrees. Tied with Panama City, buddy. Way to go. Peter is here. Weather, Brisbane, Australia, 82 Fahrenheit at 8 a.m. Peter, welcome to the channel. I know you've watched before, but I did not realize you were from down under. Welcome, sir. That is fantastic that you're here. Karen is saying Calgary, 23 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I got you beat, Karen. 40 Fahrenheit here. Absolutely sunny this afternoon. It just turned into a sunny afternoon. We had an inch of snow last night, and it's burned off. But we still have snow left from a week or so ago in the lawns. But my driveway is clear. I didn't have to shovel it. It all burned away. Yay. So I'm happy about that. Okay, that's my little spiel about YouTube and the subscriber count and all that stuff. It is all consuming those of us in the trade. But I will now get on with what I'm here for. And we're going to talk cruising. We're going to talk travel. We're going to have a chat with some stuff. I got a couple things to talk to you about today. Early this morning, I was sitting here going, what am I going to talk about today? I'm not sure if I have anything to really talk about. And I kind of thought, well, geez, maybe we'll just have a sing-along or something. I don't know what to do with you guys, but I got some news for you. I found an article this morning that I found quite interesting. It was actually out of a Florida newspaper that I found or stumbled across, doing a Google search for news and stuff. It's all about Port Canaveral. Now, this, of course, is the closest port for cruise ships to Disney World out of Orlando. And the closest international airport that'll serve Port Canaveral is Orlando. And, Walt Disney, got to be wondering, if you ever told Walt Disney back in 1965, or 64, when he started buying up this land out of this little place called Orlando for a park called Disney World, if you ever would have told Walt Disney, what's going to happen? It'll be well after you die, unfortunately. It'll be 50 years after you're gone. But there are going to be cruise ships coming over here to Port Canaveral because you built Walt Disney World and caused this chain reaction of everything else behind you to happen. You took Orlando, which was, I don't know, 100,000 people at that time in 1960, whatever. I don't even know what the population of Orlando was. It wasn't a lot. And now it's a huge city, growing leaps and bounds and creating billions and billions of dollars of economic spin-off. I mean, just countless billions. Well, here's a story out of Port Canaveral. The Port Authority of Port Canaveral, they had launched a study, and they had been asking and trying to figure out what their next 20-year plan is going to be, basically. Now, Port Canaveral not only handles cruise ships, but it also handles freight. And Port Canaveral people, they already have 6 cruise lines that are using the port now, or 5, whatever it is. And it's expanding, and every year more and more passengers are coming through Port Canaveral. Well, they're thinking ahead, which they should be doing. This is an infrastructure thing, and these people are in charge of running this infrastructure location. And they've come up with a plan for the next 20 years. They are going to sink $2.5 billion into improvements in the port facilities and new passenger terminals for cruise passengers. Right now, they're ripping down terminal number 3, they say, which is an older terminal, and they're completely gutting it, replacing it with a brand new, modern terminal. for today's standards and today's volumes, because these terminal buildings in these cruise ports, Miami's has had these problems. Fort Lauderdale's constantly upgrading. Los Angeles has these problems. These new cruise ships, they're going to hold 5,000 passengers, and some of them are going to hold 6,000 passengers. They're massive. These terminals weren't built to handle this kind of volume of passengers. They were built to handle 1,500, 2,000 passengers. We're talking Love Boat size cruise ships back from the 70s and 80s. Well, Port Authority of Port Canaveral has decided, all right, we're going to spend $2.5 billion between now and 2040. We'll add 3 new terminals to our port. Our passenger traffic is right now 4.5 million a year. I break that down to 90,000 a week. That is serious volume of, 90,000 passengers got to get off ships. 90,000 passengers got to get on ships. That's 180,000 people moving around every week. They're going up to 8 million. So that's a virtual double in passenger counts through Port Canaveral. And it's all because Walt Disney World, MGM, or Universal Studios and MGM, all the theme parks that are in Orlando, all of that, and that beautiful airport that they built to handle the millions of passengers every year from around the world, not just USA or Canada. It's truly stunning to see this. So this is the kind of money that port authorities now have to invest to attract cruise ships to make this port a home port for a bunch of their vessels, because the cruise lines are saying to the port authorities, hey, we got 8 ships on order, $1 billion a pop. We got an $8 billion order for this line. MSC has got 14 billion orders over here. Royal Caribbean has got billions of dollars of orders over there. You guys have got to step up to the plate. If you want our business in your port to continue, you got to give us upgrades in the facilities on shore, because 6,000 or 5,000 passenger cruise ship, and I read you the other day the number of eggs, was it 86,000 eggs in a week that the Harmony of the Seas goes through? Trucks are needed to deliver that. And it's called just-in-time delivery, because you can't bring the eggs in like for 3 days and have them just sit on the pier and then put them on the ship. No, they arrive an hour before they're due on board. They go right from the truck, right to the pier, right to the crane, right onto the ship, into the kitchen. Let's go. And it's the same with the milk and the cheese and the cream and the meat and the booze and it's mind-numbing, the logistics of a cruise ship, because you're talking about 7,000 people for a week that have to eat, sleep, and poo on a vessel, and you got to bring all the provisions for all these folks every cruise, and you got to take off all the garbage from the cruise before, right, including the sewage and you name it, obviously, and then you got to refuel. So these ports, the logistics that they go through to just accommodate these monster ships, it's staggering, and you want to handle. Right now, 90,000 people a week in and 90,000 people a week off, and then go up to doubling that. You're now talking 360,000 people a week. A week. That cities don't have 360,000 people. It's just staggering. It's absolutely staggering. Car rental agencies, charter companies, the hotels in the area are going to be built up. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And is it any wonder that Florida has millions of people that work in the tourist business? And we just think about, I mean, I used to not even think about it in any real way. I thought people who worked in the tourist business were airline employees and car rental agents, the guy that washes the rental car, the hotel staff. Oh, gosh, no, it just goes beyond that, so far beyond that, just to handle the whole logistics of the business. Fascinating. Anyway, that was a neat article to read. They're talking about the cruise lines that are now frequenting Port Canaveral are Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Disney, Celebrity, and there'll be more. MSC Cruise Lines, I'm sure, will be coming in there, and it's just incredible. What amazing story. So there's a story about infrastructure that's coming in. Just seeing who else is here. Paula K. It's amazing to hear how massive it's going to become. It's true, Paula. Organized chaos, organized chaos of the best I've ever seen. Yeah, I love hanging out. When I get on the ship and I finally get to my room, after an hour walking around the ship and stuff, for my cruise, I love to go to my balcony, and I just like to hang on the rail and look down at what's going on at the pier, and just watch the activity, where you always hear that beep 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 sound, where these, you know, guys holding the forklifts, moving stuff off a ship, moving stuff on a ship, and the constant movement of trucks, and then you see all the luggage that we have, and they have the luggage in these bins, these massive bins that hold, I don't know, 100 pieces, 200 pieces at a time, and they've got them in a long train, and they're just lined up, and they're just bringing these things onto the ship, one after the other, and then they get the luggage to our rooms, on all those decks. Oh my gosh, it's just incredible. I love watching it because I'm not doing it. I'm on holidays. I get just to watch, and I can critique them because I have nothing to do with it. It is amazing, just amazing. Okay, the second thing I wanted to mention today was those of us who are regular cruisers, and some of us are pretty good at finding a deal on getting a cruise. But for those of you out there who are relatively new at this, or who've never ever thought of finding your own cruise, you just, you see an ad in the newspaper, or you call a travel agent and you kind of wing it, or you go to the AMA, or you use Costco Travel. I mean, whoever you use to buy your cruise, up to you, or whatever trip you're taking. Those of us who are doing it on our own, we have a little more of a way to figure out what's kind of going on. And one of the things that we've learned is we've learned how to find a good deal. And we've also figured out, don't just look at the posted price or the brochure price, or even the sale price that you got to go beyond that. You got to look for other discounts that are available. And I've mentioned a few of them. And I'll mention a few again, but I got a couple here that are additional discounts that are available to cruisers. And it just covers a huge number of people above and beyond maybe what you'd think. I love to use vacationstogo.com to find out what prices are for cruises, because they show me all the cruise lines, all the various regions in the world, and I can bring it down to show me just Caribbean cruises, show me just cruises in February, show me just cruises that are longer than 8 to 13 days maybe, or show me 14-day cruises or more, or show me all the cruises. I just want to see nothing but Norwegian or nothing but Royal Caribbean. Or I can go down to just show me MSC Seaside, that new ship. Just show me the cruises that are available for that ship going forward, and I can go right down to that. But another thing that they have is they have what are called the discounts available to different groups. And if you fall into any of these, you can get an additional discount. On occasion, they'll have specials just for your demographic. And we start off with the obvious, 55 and older, the so-called senior rate. Of course, there's that. But then they have cruise discounts available for anyone who's an EMT professional. How about a firefighter? You're a firefighter, you get a discount. Military, of course. There's something called the past guest discount. So if you've been on Celebrity before and you want to book a Celebrity cruise, Vacations to Go has a link where you just click on, I'm past member. You click on the past cruising member cruise, past guest cruise. Then they ask you, what line are you a past member of? Oh, I've been on Celebrity. Click on that. They'll show you all the Celebrity cruises that have a special for past member guests. Same thing for Carnival or Holland America or Norwegian, you name it. Police, anyone who's in the police service gets a discount. They have singles discounts. Some cruises offer singles discounts because in the old days, up to about 4 or 5 years ago, which we now call the old days, it used to be if you were single and you want to go on a cruise, you got to pay double the rate because you're taking one room that normally would be for 2 people. You got to pay double the price. Well, they have now cruise lines are coming up going, oh, well, we've got a deal for singles. Now, in some cases, Norwegian, for example, they have singles cabins, much smaller for one person. And then they have, price for that. And they have their own little reception area and that kind of thing. But other cruise lines will say, well, we've got a deal for if you're taking an inside room or an ocean view room or whatever, and you're single, well, we'll give you a single supplement price. Now, it might be single plus 20%, might be single plus 50%, might be single, literally just one fare. I don't know. It all depends on how close to cruise time you're getting. And then, if you're a 55-year-old single or 60-year-old single, maybe you can get that. There's considerations. It doesn't hurt to ask, doesn't hurt to look into it. Teacher discounts. There are discounts for teachers from time to time. And then they have something called regional discounts. So you'll find here in British Columbia or Alberta in Canada, here in Calgary, I'll see a cruise, and the vacations to go people, they know, oh yeah, he used to be in Calgary. We got Alberta discounts for you. Alberta, the so-called Alberta rate. Well, if you're in Florida, you get the Florida rate. If you're in the UK, you get a UK deal. All kinds of lines have all kinds of deals depending on regions, and it varies from time to time. Especially, if there's a 4,000 passenger ship coming to Southampton on a repositioning cruise, and it's about to do some cruising out of Southampton to the Baltic region or towards the Mediterranean, the ship might not be fully booked up. They might only be at 70% bookings with 60 days to go or 90 days to go. And the cruise line is going to start to get nervous and then aggressive to get passengers on that ship. They'll start targeting residents in the UK. I mean, they know you're there. You live there. You can get to Southampton a lot easier than someone from New York can. So they're going to target your region and say, hey, UK residents, we got a deal for you on this ship, on this cruise to whatever. And your travel agents will certainly be notified of that. They'll get bulletins when they come in the morning and they turn on their computer to start their day. There's a bulletin from Norwegian or from Royal Caribbean or from MSC or from P&O, whoever is supplying that area, and it'll say discounts, UK discounts just announced today. And this includes balcony rooms. And if you've got a travel agent that's worth their salt, they are getting a hold of you right now. They're not even having their coffee. They're getting a hold of you ASAP to say, hey, listen, I know you were talking to me about a cruise a month or two ago. You went on a cruise a year ago. You were thinking about a cruise this year. I got one for you. I can get you this discount. And so regional discounts they're a big deal, and they show up all the time. Then there's another discount called the interline discount. And I was asking myself, what the heck is an interline discount? I don't know what an interline discount is. What does that mean? Before I get there, I'm going to just double check my messages again. CrashX saying it's nice to sit on the balcony and watch, and also can usually catch some free port Wi-Fi and send email or post a picture. Yeah, that's right. Right. It's your last chance to get some free Wi-Fi before you're gone. Karen is saying, hey, Bruce, looking for a transatlantic this fall. Any ships heading to Europe that time of year? Stand by. I've got something, but I don't think I can answer your question directly at the moment. However, back to this interline discount thing I was telling you about. What is an interline discount? What that means is if you're in the travel business in some way or some form, somehow you're connected, you can qualify for additional discounts on cruises. So, for example, airline employees. You work for an airline in the U.S. or in Canada or anywhere in the world. You're an airline employee. You're eligible for discounts, whether you're a flight attendant, pilot, whether you're a ground crew, doesn't matter. Cruise line employees from other cruise lines. We call that the courtesy discount. So if you're with Carnival, you want to take Celebrity Cruise, Celebrity will give you a discount. You bet. Amtrak employees, the rail line. Federal Express, a DHL, UPS, United Postal Service. You get a discount if you're working with those entities. Of course, travel agents, they get discounts, unbelievable killer discounts. Folks, you want to go on a cruise and you're single and you need a traveling companion, make a friend. Make sure the friend is a travel agent. Make sure the friend is a travel agent, likes to travel a lot as part of their compensation. And, get to know that person, because these folks get offers all the time through their employers and through the cruise lines and through other entities like All-In Resorts. And I'll tell you, you get to know a travel agent, and sometimes they need a traveling companion because they don't want to go by themselves. And if you're a pal, go with a pal. So I'll tell you, they get some great deals. Airline Pilot Association, yeah, all members of the Airline Pilot Association, the FAA, the air traffic controllers, all of these folks also qualify for discounts. Now, not every cruise guarantees you a discount just because you're part of this organization. But it can go a long way at times where A cruise line will say to travel agencies, look, certain cruises of the year, they'll list them, and they'll say these Caribbean cruises, or these cruises in the Mediterranean, or these repositioning cruises. Not only do we have a regular room credit as part of our promotion anyway to anybody that books, but to these interline folks, we'll even throw an additional discount, another room credit of some kind on top of the other promo that's available. So it doesn't hurt to ask. And so if you have a cruise, if you have a travel agent that you're talking to a travel agent and you're sitting there and you're talking to them, saying, well, what about these other discounts? Do I qualify for that? I worked for the so-and-so. I once was a Federal Express employee, or I'm a former retired airline pilot, whatever. The other thing about this interline discount deal, spouses, parents, in-laws, children, retired airline pilots, and retired cruise line employees can sometimes qualify, and most times do qualify, for the discount. So it's not necessarily that you have to be an active member of the organization. You can be a retired member of the organization, and spouse and children, in-laws as well. So, if you're you're thinking of doing a wedding cruise, you got mom and dad, you got the son or daughter that's getting hitched up, then you got the mom and dad on the other side, perhaps, and the son or the daughter, son or the son, the daughter or the daughter. And then you got the kids from each side, and you got the bridal party, and there's an ability to negotiate a volume discount on this kind of a deal with a cruise line, because you might be bringing 20 people on a cruise, 30 people on a cruise, but then there might be some additional room credits available for certain members of certain organizations on top of everything else. Doesn't hurt to ask. It's free to ask, and you cash in. So there's a thought. Okay. Crash X is saying port residents get the best deals last minute. Called Pack and Go. In San Juan, a family decided to book available cabin for a 7-day cruise. Cost $99 a person for the week. Crazy, outrageous, and great. Yeah, what a deal. I was on a cruise, Princess Cruise, to the Mexican Riviera out of Los Angeles, and I met a fellow on board. He was in the spa, and we got to talking, and he lives in the Los Angeles area, and he got an email with a week to go from Princess directly. He was a past client. He had been on a Princess Cruise before, and they connected. They sent him an email that he got on he got on a Saturday morning, and he could go to the Mexican River. It's like $199, balcony per person for the week. He looked at his wife, she looked at him, and by the time he looked at her, his hands were on the computer keyboard saying, yeah, we'll take it, because for $199 for the week in a balcony, you can eat that much at dinner time, let alone the other 2 meals, and go to the Mexican Riviera. And how handy was that? You take a cab to the port, take a cab home, or get a friend to drop you off and pick you up. Man, what a deal. So he was telling me about that, and I thought, yeah, if you're a resident of Los Angeles, or you're a resident of San Diego, you're a resident of Port Canaveral, Miami area, yeah, get your name somehow through travel agents or whatever, somehow get connected and linked to these cruise lines that are hitting your town with cruise ships like crazy, and you may well find that you can get your hands on some last minute deals. So yeah, that's a pretty cool way to go. That's a deal of all time deals. You got to love that. Yeah, so there you go. Discounts available all over the place for all kinds of professions. And then of course you just have to go out and search. I mean, there's Expedia.com, there's Orbitz.com. You can find cruises through these organizations as well. AMA, if you're a member of the AMA, you can go in there and talk to the folks at the counter, or they may even have a 1-800 number that you can call virtually 24/7, and you can talk to them about cruises, and you can do your homework. And if you start comparing AMA versus a travel agent that you talk to once in a while, and then you do your own online search, you'll find out where the best deal is coming to you from, and where the best deal is going to come at. So there's that. I was just thinking about Karen's question about, hey, Bruce, looking for a transatlantic this fall. Any ships heading to Europe that time of year? I'm not so sure you're going to find that many, Karen, because North America to Europe in the fall is the wrong direction. The repositioning cruises are Europe to North America because cruises are going to be taken from the Baltic, the Northern Europe cruise areas, from the Mediterranean cruise regions. They're going to bring them all back to Florida for the winter Caribbean sailing season. Now, of course, Cunard and a few occasional, well, Cunard in particular, I know, will operate the transatlantic type cruising from New York to London and back, but that's not every week, all year long. It's certain times of the year that they'll do it. So that might be tough to find a deal like that. But boy, go to vacations2go.com, folks. You want to go from North America to Europe, say in September or October. You look up on vacations2go.com. You'll find the find deals. It'll give you a little drop down menu of all kinds of choices, and in there you can ask the computer to search for you from, say, September to November. I want to see all cruises, transatlantic cruises, all lines, all length of time, whoever is doing it, and then it'll show you what cruise lines are offering transatlantic service. Now, you may find a bunch from Southampton to North America, or Barcelona to Miami, or Rome to Fort Lauderdale, and only one or two or three the other direction, and they may not be on sale. They may not be, because again, not very many cruise ships are headed to the Mediterranean in the winter to offer Mediterranean cruises. Yeah, kind of an interesting question to kind of check that out. Otherwise, if it's too much of a burden to kind of do it yourself, or you know a travel agent, just call your travel agent and say, hey, listen, if you find a killer deal for me between, say, September, October, November to go to Europe on a cruise, let me know. But I'm not too hopeful that very many will show up, because it's the wrong direction at that time. Springtime, yep, and in the fall we're coming back. So yeah, it might be a bit of a reach there. Okay. A couple of cruises I found today that I was looking up on. Again, I've mentioned on my channel here a few times, as you folks know, I'll come across a deal from time to time. I'll mention it to you, throw it out there. I know you guys come up with deals all the time too. You'll tell me prices that are unbelievable. You'll tell me deals about, deals on board a ship that you found, or drink packages, or all kinds of promos where you get all kinds of extras thrown in. I found a couple of cruises here that sounded pretty interesting. The first one, I titled this one, I call this cruise Panama Canal for Cheap. If you've ever dreamed of sailing through the Panama Canal, here's a cruise that is quite affordable. Let me tell you what we got here. This is departing from Seattle on April the 19th. This is an 18-night cruise, and it departs Seattle and it ends in Port Canaveral. So you end up going diagonally from Seattle up here all the way down to Port Canaveral down here. That's an amazing trip, all the way down the West Coast, down Mexico, past Costa Rica, Panama, through the canal, and all the way up back to Port Canaveral. 18 nights. The deal is this. It's run by Norwegian, and the ship is called the Norwegian Sun, and that'll hold about 2,400 passengers. The interior room rate for this 18-night cruise is $784. The ocean view room, $881. Balcony is $1,832. Now, the balcony I don't call a killer deal. It's an okay price, about $100 a night, not bad. But the inside rate at $784, or the ocean view at $881 for an 18-night cruise is a pretty good deal. But on top of that, they'll throw you a $50 room credit as a standard offer. But I was thinking about this, going, boy, if you own 100 shares of Norwegian stock, you qualify for the shareholder benefit program. And for those of you who don't know what that is, you own 100 shares of either Royal Caribbean shares, 100 shares of Norwegian, or 100 shares of Carnival. You can get discounts, credits on any cruise you take with these lines. Depending on how long the cruise is, the credit gets larger. Well, on an 18-night cruise, Norwegian will give you a $250 credit, $250 shareholder credit. Well, that room credit on top of the $50 they're throwing you already, now you get a $300 room credit. The cruise came in at $784 for an inside, $881 for an ocean view. So you take the $300 and divide it in half because there's two passengers in the room, obviously. You take $150 off your $881, you're down to $731 for an 18-night cruise. That's a heck of a deal. This $300 basically will pay for your tips because the tips are $14 a night for 18 days. That's $252. So that covers tips for one. So this goes a long way. That was a really cool deal. The itinerary, the actual cruise, it starts Seattle, goes to Victoria, Canada. Then it goes back to sea for a day, then to San Francisco. Then you get 2 days at sea, you end up in Cabo San Lucas. 1 day at sea, you end up in Acapulco, Mexico. Then you have 2 days at sea, you're in Costa Rica for a night. One more day at sea, now you're traversing the Panama Canal. And you get to, hang out on the top of the ship on the deck and watch the proceedings, and that's pretty cool. After the Panama Canal, next morning you're in Colombia for a day. Then you have 2 sea days, and you end up in Miami for a night. And then the next day you're in Port Canaveral. And so you've gone diagonally across all of North America, and all you need to do is find your way home. Now, if you started in Chicago, you flew to Seattle, and then you did the cruise, and then you're flying from Port Canaveral back to Chicago, obviously. So however you can work it, Southwest Airlines, JetBlue, these other discount airlines, the air shouldn't be a big deal, shouldn't be a big problem. That was a pretty good offer, I think. The second cruise that I found kind of interesting, and ironically, it's the same ship. It's the Norwegian Sun again. This time, we're talking about starting in Santiago, Chile, and ending up in Miami. And this is an earlier cruise. This is February the 17th. So this is before the cruise I was just telling you about that started in April 19th. February the 17th, you would board the ship in Santiago, Chile, and for 16 nights, you're going to work your way up to Miami going through the Panama Canal. Inside room on this cruise, $523. 16 nights, $523. Ocean view, $862. And a balcony, $1,512. So again, that balcony rate is just around $100 a night, ballpark per person, where the inside and ocean views are really cheap. I mean, that inside room for $523. But they're throwing you a $25 credit, not a lot, but it's a $25, thanks for coming aboard credit. But if you got a shareholder, you get $250. So take 250 and 25, 275, divide it in half, and take that off the 523 inside room rate. You're down to like $400 per person for a 16-night cruise. I mean, man, if you can't eat $400 of the food in 16 days, you don't eat. You're on some kind of a restricted diet, I think. That's amazing. That's just unbelievable. The trick of it, of course, how do you get to Santiago, Chile in the first place? There's the trick of it. You're not going to be able to find Southwest Airlines on a cheap one-way, right? So you're going to have to do some work on Expedia.com or through a travel agent and find some kind of combination one-way fare from where you are at to get to where you're going. Now, I would recommend one solution or one idea, maybe. If you're in New York, you would do a trip to Miami, a round trip. You buy a round trip ticket to Miami because when the cruise is over, did I say it right? Yeah, you end up in Miami, okay? So you're going to do the trip to Miami first, and then at the end of the cruise, Miami back to New York. Okay, that's step one. The second ticket is Miami to Santiago. So now you're trying to figure out how to get from Miami to Santiago. So that might be Miami, Mexico City. It might be Mexico City to Santiago. You'll have to check with various cruise line, travel agents for that. But because you're talking about a multi-city deal, if you're talking American Airlines may offer you a hell of a deal for this because they're going to go, yeah, you're flying with us from Miami to New York, Miami, New York, and Miami to Santiago. We'll give you a deal. We won't penalize you for that one-way leg so much. So that might be something to look into. That might be a way to make it work. But the savings of the cruise, 16 days for $523 before your credits, that'll go a long way to compensate you for the cost to get to Santiago, Chile anyway. So I think about it that way. So if you can get to Santiago, Chile 4 or 5 days before you cruise, stay there for a few days and enjoy that area, then take the cruise all the way up to Miami, hang out in Miami for a few days, and then come home. You've made it a 3-week trip. Wow, what a trip. And you amortize it out over 21 days. Might be a heck of a deal. So there you go. That might be something to think about. Mark the Lost Traveler is here. Hi, everybody. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Crasher X says inside 1,029 per person, ocean view 1,129 per person, balcony 2389 per person, mini suite 3669 per person, same 18.9 cruise, Sun Plus. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Is that the cruise I'm talking about? I don't know, but I found a deal on this deal on this cruise. What a deal for 523! Wow, unbelievable. What do we got here? And let's see. Crash X is going on talking about some credits and everything else. But Crash, I don't know which cruise you're talking about. You got to help me out here. Tell me what cruise you mean, and I will read all this to our viewers so we're on the same page. Mark was saying that's who I work for, American Airlines. Don't have to worry about the flight to Chile. Yes, Mark, you dog, Mark. You got it made. He used to fly with American Airlines, work for American Airlines. He gets all the American Airlines deals as a former employee. And so to get down to, Santiago, Chile, oh, wow, what a deal. Yeah, these some of these cruises, boy, if you can find your way to these port cities to get on that ship, the one here from Seattle, this one here from Santiago, oh, man, can you save money? Oh, my gosh. Just be flexible. Maybe go 2 or 3 days earlier. Maybe you must. So you must. Fantastic. Of course, the other trick of it is if you're semi-retired like me or you're fully retired like other people, and you've booked a flight from Miami to New York, on your way home, and it's it's a Friday afternoon flight. Everybody wants to go to New York out of Miami, and you're at the gate, and they're calling for volunteers to be bumped for compensation, and they're offering up to $400 or $500, $600, whatever they're offering. You might want to take that deal. And go on the next flight or go on tomorrow morning's flight, and they'll put you in the hotel in the meantime, and they've given you a cash voucher, $500, $600, whatever it is. Great way to get compensated for that trip you were just on. If you've got the time to spare to get back, of course, your family's eagerly waiting for you at the airport, you call them up, say, I'm coming tomorrow. So you can do that. I know of people who've had great success being bumped by design off of flights for moolah. Flight vouchers, free flights, upgrades, you name it. If you've got the time, you can make deals. Might be worth your while. Okay, third cruise that I came up with today was a cruise across the Atlantic. But unfortunately for Karen, it is not from Europe to Miami. This one is Fort Lauderdale to Southampton or London, England. And the cruise is a repositioning cruise. It leaves April the 15th. It is Celebrity Cruise Lines, and it's on the Silhouette. It's a 13-night cruise on Celebrity. And the inside room, $619. 13 nights for $619. I mean, man, we're talking under $50 a day. Ocean view, $829. Balcony, $939. You get a $150 shipboard credit from Celebrity right off the bat. So for the inside room, you take $75 off per person off that $619 if you want to kind of figure out the real base price. We're talking $540 odd now for a 13-night cruise. What a deal. Now, become a shareholder of Royal Caribbean. Excuse me, Royal Caribbean shareholder discount, $200. So that's another $100 a person. So now you're taking $175 per person off the price of the fare. $175 off of $619. We're down to $440 odd dollars. Even the balcony, take $175 off of $939. You're down to $750 odd dollars. For 13 nights, not bad per person to do that deal. That one, 13 nights and on Celebrity. Are we complaining about being on a Celebrity cruise ship for 13 days if we're kind of my age? If you're in your 50s, 60s, wow, this is great. If you got 4 kids with you, 2 kids with you, and they want nothing but action, they're going to be limited compared to, say, a Royal Caribbean cruise with all the bells and whistles. But still, Celebrity cruise is awful nice. The food is awfully good. The amenities are awful nice. Uh, that would be a sweet deal. And I think you'll arrive in Southampton quite relaxed. Thank you very much. Time change, not a problem. I know it's 6 hours earlier. No big later. No big deal, actually. 6 hours later, no big deal because it took me 13 days to get here. I'm fully adjusted to the time of day. What a wonderful deal that would be. What do we got here? Okay, Norwegian Sun, 18-night Panama plus all perks listed below is what CrashX is telling me. This is a Panama plus all perks listed below. And I'm still not sure. Are we talking about the same cruise here, CrashX? Is this the cruise that I was talking about, or is this a separate one that you found? Because it's an 18-nighter and an inside is 1,029. Nothing wrong with that deal. 1129 for an ocean view and 2389 for a balcony. That's it's not a bargain. I mean, it's 2389 for a balcony. Mini suite, $3,700, 3669. Let's see, and then you get some shore. You get the $50 shore excursion credit, a 250-minute internet package, and a 120-minute phone call package, and $200 air credit and $100 hotel credit. Well, you add all that up and take it off those base fares, and the deals that I had mentioned earlier, those two Sun deals, I think still beat it. But hey, what's wrong with this cruise? Nothing. If you took the inside deal, the inside room rate at 1,029, and then you added all these perks, you're down into that 500 range for an 18-night cruise. Deal, right? This just goes to show you, folks. Again, those of us who are regulars, we know this. We see this all the time because we follow this as kind of a religion. But those of you who are occasional travelers, who are joining this chat, or you're watching this video tonight, next week, who are just trying to learn about cruising, you've always thought about going on a cruise, believe me, folks, there are deals out there you can't believe on cruises. You just can't believe some of these killer deals that are available. They're just so economically priced. You'd be crazy not to think of one of these deals. I have talked to people time and time again who've said to me, oh, I went on an all-inclusive resort. It was great. We went down to Mexico and I got a deal for $799 for a week, or I got a 2-week deal for $1,000. Well, it was fantastic. And then I'm talking to them about, did you get what was your airfare? Oh, well, the airfare was included, but the flight was 8 hours late getting there, and we didn't get out till late that afternoon. Okay. What else about the deal? Well, the booze was, the cheap booze, but what the heck? But the noise was sure bad. And the room next to us, the people were partying like crazy, a bunch of college kids, and it was driving us nuts. And my husband got kind of bored after the third day because there's nothing to do, because we're just hanging out by the pool all the time. We're there for 2 weeks. We're in Cancun, or we're in Cozumel or whatever, and we didn't want to venture off the property unless we were escorted or whatever the issue was. On a cruise, if you can get a cruise for $45 a night, including food, entertainment, the resort, and a different view every hour while the ship is moving, multiple stops on a repositioning cruise, or how about the Seattle all the way to Port Canaveral? I mean, my goodness, you've got 8 or 9 stops, day excursions galore at such a price. This, to me, and I'm biased, of course, love cruising. To me, this beats an all-inclusive resort where I'm stuck. Now, I've talked to people who said to me, oh, yeah, I got the $999 deal, like I was just saying, on a 14-night all-inclusive. It was a 3-star. Well, what did that mean? Well, the 3-star meant it was kind of like a Motel 6. It was awful. The food was fried chicken every night, chicken fingers, fish sticks. Wasn't all that great as far as the meals go. A 5-star all-inclusive. If you can get a 5-star all-inclusive, and it's a real, true 5-star all-inclusive where you have found all these comments from people who've been on that 5-star all-inclusive, and they've told you that, oh, it's unbelievable, and they have the steakhouse and the porterhouse steaks and all that. If the food is the food, as they say is the food, then the pricing could be competitive, perhaps. But on a cruise, gee, if you can get on the ship for $539, you got the room credits, and you then decide to splurge one night and go to the steakhouse for $40 more. Well, go ahead, knock yourself out and enjoy, right? That is a killer deal. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Great info crash. Mark is saying, Mark Lost Traveler. Yes, if you have time, take the money. Take the money. I've seen over $1,000 in Orlando around Christmas, but there are professionals who look for overbooked flights just to get all the free stuff. Yeah, this is a real. It's becoming a real thing because the passenger on United. Remember that gentleman, the doctor who got dragged off rather aggressively and quickly and was bleeding and had missing teeth and oh, what a mess. He got kicked off and he got a serious settlement. Ever since then, airlines have decided, oh, no, 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 we're not going to get over this again. We're going to attempt to play we're going to bump you off game at the gate. We're not going to play the bump you off the flight game once you're all in your seats. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We're going to play that game at the gate. And we have told our staff, offer deals, offer perks, and let's go, because we want passengers willing to take a deal rather than forced to take a deal. And so I'm sure there were airline employees who were told by managers behind closed doors without recording equipment, you get 10 people bumped when I tell you to get 10 people bumped, and you get them for nothing. Just arbitrarily kick them off, and if you really have to give them something, give them $100 or $200, and that's it. I'm not allowing you to do any more. You have to talk to me about it. And if you can't get 10 people bumped off that flight, maybe I'll find someone else to take your job. I'm sure there are airline employees who have these kinds of intimate stories that have happened to them and are sworn to secrecy. And that's where all these bad vibes have come from over the years from airlines, where people are just being treated like crap. Well, it's sort of changed, and now the offers are coming. And like Mark is saying, yeah, there are people out there who have no intention of going on the airplane at all. They don't want to go on a flight. All they want to do is book a couple of seats on an airplane that's going from New York to Miami on Friday night, or Atlanta to New York, or wherever the flight's going to, where they know that flight's always overbooked. It's always overbooked. And of course, they show up in plenty of time and they're willing to make a deal. And the deal is cash. The flight might have cost them whatever, $3, $4, whatever, $100 return. And now they're working on a deal here on a cash deal to get way more than that and help pay the bills. It's an amazing game. But as a casual traveler, you find yourself in a situation where you're at the gate and they're looking for volunteers, and the offers just get better and better. You indicate to them, hey, I might be interested in getting bumped, but you got to make me an offer I can't refuse. I can refuse a $200 voucher. Thank you very much. I can refuse $400 in cash. Thank you very much. Because if you know what the limits are, you know how high they can go, and the other passengers just aren't biting at the offer. You're looking at that gate attendant saying, hey, look, make me an offer, or I'm taking this deal off the table. I'm getting on that plane. And so you may find you get quite lucky. And of course, if you're pleasant about it and you're easygoing about it, the airline people are going to go, oh, here, sir, you just stay right over here and I'll make you happy. So let them make you happy. Absolutely. Fantastic. That's pretty cool. Mark the Lost Traveler. Someone pat Bruce on the back. Thanks, Mark. I'll do that. Karen, what is the cost of becoming a shareholder? Okay, Karen, you got to buy 100 shares of the cruise line. Okay. Now, I checked the other day. Norwegian Cruise Line shares were trading at about $60 a share. So it's a $6,000 cost US. You can buy the shares in a regular brokerage account. You can buy them inside an RSP or IRA, a retirement account. You buy them and you forget about them. You just hold the shares as an investment. Yeah, they fluctuate in price, 10, 15% a year from time to time. But generally speaking, the cruise business is a growing business. It's a business that's growing at 5 to 7% a year right now. And Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival are the leaders of the pack, or among the leaders of the pack. Now, I think Royal Caribbean stock is 120 a share, if I mentioned the other day, folks. Some of you folks were watching me and you might remember the exact pricing. And Norwegian, there was, and Carnival, and Carnival was I'm not sure if Carnival was the cheapest stock. Anyway, $60 to $120 a share, depending on the company. Easily, you can look it up on Google. Just go to Google and enter the word Carnival shares, Carnival stock. Hit the button. You'll see the price of the shares today, this week, and you can hold the shares. Now you can do another little trick. Okay, if you got a cruise coming up, say 6 months from now, or you're planning on one, you can buy the shares of the company 2 months before the cruise. It doesn't matter, a month before the cruise, as long as you buy them early enough to be able to prove to your travel agent or through Norwegian or Royal Caribbean or Carnival that you're the shareholder at least 15 days before the cruise. You are a shareholder of that company. You'll then qualify for the ship credit. I recommend having ownership at least a month before, just to be safe, on the safe side. And the key here is it's an unlimited benefit. So once you own the shares of any one of these 3 cruise lines, or all 3 if you want to own all 3 and hold them for the long haul, if you're planning 2 or 3 or 4 cruises a year and you find that you're going to do 2 cruises on, maybe Holland America and Princess, you can do a cruise on each of those, and then you can do 1 cruise on Celebrity and 1 cruise on Norwegian. Well, now you've got all 3 lines covered. But in the one case with Carnival, you went on Holland America and Princess. That's 2 of their lines. It's offered on all Carnival's lines, all of Royal Caribbean's lines, all of Norwegian's lines. So it doesn't matter how many times you take a cruise in a year. If you're just a shareholder only of Carnival, then target Carnival product only. If you're going on 4 cruises, on 4 Carnival property cruises, you get a credit on every cruise you take. And that's an extra benefit to your share cost. So if the shares go down in value, let's say, I don't know, they go down $500 in value over a year, but you've taken 3 cruises and you got a $250 credit on this one, you got a $100 credit on this one, and a $100 credit on that one. Well, there's $450 in credits you got just to be a shareholder, and the shares are down $500 in value. Now, the next year they kind of go back to what you paid for them, and you've taken 4 cruises since then. You brought in another $400 or $500 in shipboard credits. You've almost got 1,000 in shipboard credits, and you're even on your stock. And some of these shares pay a dividend, so it can be a pretty good investment actually to have. And on these repositioning cruises that are 14, 15, 16 days, you want to look for those and take advantage of these offers. Can't beat that. So yeah, that is a good deal. KB, Mr. Butler's here. When you do a transatlantic cruise like that, how do you keep the proper time on the ship? Is it hard to keep track of dinner reservations? Okay, good news, KB. The ship does it all for you. Every night in your room, on your bed or under your door, will be the flyer that your room steward will have been delivering to you, telling you what's going on board, what's happening tomorrow on the cruise ship, all the events. And they're going to tell you, tomorrow we're moving the clocks forward 1 hour because we're going to be in the Greenwich Greenwich time minus 3 hours, or whatever whatever they're going to call it. And so every day or two, the ship's clocks get turned. Your television automatically changes, and so you see the clocks on board the ship telling you what the time is now. And so your reservations are the same time, say 7 o'clock every night. Tomorrow you're at 7 o'clock. It's an hour later. Am I right? Yeah, because we're going that direction, right? Yeah, it's later. So you'll get used to it. Now, if you need a snack at 5, head for the buffet, have a little snack. 7 o'clock's dinner. So you'll adjust to it easily. It'll be no problem whatsoever. Mark the Lost Traveler, tons of deals out there. Just need to do a little Columbo-like research. Yeah, you bet, Mark. The more you put into it, the more you get back. This is what I find about cruising or anything you're passionate about. Of course, if you're passionate about air travel, you're passionate about destination resorts, all-inclusive resorts. If that's what you are into, backpacking, you're into YouTubing. The more you put into what you're about, what you want to get, the more you're going to get back. And that's the thing about cruising. I keep reminding folks that are relatively new at this, folks. a few hours of your time can save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And you got to ask yourself, how much do I get paid an hour to do my job when I'm working? Am I getting paid 15 bucks an hour, 40 bucks an hour, 100 bucks an hour? If I can save $300 or $400 on an hour or two of research on a cruise, because there's two of us doing this deal, it's worth my time. This is after tax money we're talking about too. Karen Karen Lipson, reminder notice is left on your bed every time change. Here we go. They change 1 hour every day or second day. You'll get notice the time changes other than hockey games starting at 3 in the morning. Yeah, if you're Canadian and you're following hockey, or if you're following the NFL and it's during the season, the start time of the games gets more inconvenient the further away you get. But that's just the way the planet works. The globe, apparently the world's round. What can I say? Who knew? Mark the Lost Traveler, man, the airline stories I could tell you. Oh, yes, I am sure of that. Mark is saying most I ever gave was $2,500 and positive space on the next flight. Oh, man, some of the settlements, some of the deals that have been on. Oh, man, that is incredible. I can imagine the person that received that deal has been talking about that deal for ever since they got that deal. Unbelievable. Crash Through X is saying, so how far in advance of your cruise do you start looking for flights? Well, my thinking is, you start today, right? Let's say you're doing a cruise 9 months from now, all right? 9 months. I would take a look today just to see what the flight numbers are, just to get a handle on it. Grab a piece of paper, by the way, and write this stuff down, because you'll forget. I mean, if you do an Expedia thing today, or a kayak.com today, or Orbitz, get on there now, and then maybe every week or so, get back on there and take a look, and you'll see the pattern. You'll see a trend, perhaps. Keep your eyes open, listening to jet fuel prices, oil prices, or the dead giveaway. Oil goes up 10 bucks a barrel. Airfares are going to go up, so you may want to book that cruise sooner rather than later. But if oil is starting to drop a little bit or level off, then that's not going to be an issue. Depends also, when are you flying? I mean, if your cruise is in near U.S. Thanksgiving, you're going to have issues. So you may want to be booking that flight sooner rather than later, and maybe, if you have to book it prime time, you have to. But if your flight is leaving, kind of around that time, that big holiday time, you may want to get a flight a few or 3 or 4 days early. Be flexible with your departure time. Be flexible with your return airfare if you can be. And you may find that it's hundreds of dollars in savings. Now, some airlines just aren't on Expedia. They're not on kayak.com like Southwest Airlines. They aren't part of that deal. So you have to go to Southwest directly. But the good news about Southwest, and amongst these other websites that I was mentioning, is they'll show you the flight prices up to a week before you're going and a week after you're coming back. So you can really shop your departure and arrival, departure time, and pricing for your flight. And you may need to be a little more flexible than you ever imagined, but hey, it might be so valuable to you that it'll pay the cost of the hotel that you're staying at for the extra day, and you got an extra day at the port city. Now, if the port city is Miami, lots to see and do in Miami. If the port city is Port Canaveral, maybe the hotel is going to be in Orlando, and you'll enjoy the sights there. Again, it all depends on where you're traveling to and from. KB is saying, you can call me Kathy. Okay, Kathy, you got it. When I see KB Butler, I don't know male or female. I have no idea. Kathy, welcome to my channel. Welcome to the chat today. Ian Spencer's here. What's up? I'm back. Welcome, Ian. How are you doing? Thank God it's Friday. Mark the Lost Traveler is saying, look for flights now. The closer it gets more expensive. Don't fly down to Orlando in November, December, February, big bucks, but do your homework. You can find a deal. Yeah, Orlando, thankfully, I think you can use Southwest. You might be able to use Frontier. You might be able to use Spirit Airlines. So your flight might have to be with a discount carrier to really get the deal of deals. On the other hand, you may find that you have to fly to Tampa to get the best price, and then you rent a car to Port Canaveral, with Orlando as a stop. So you fly in 4 days early, get to Tampa, rent a car, stop in Orlando for a few days, drop the car off in Port Canaveral for your cruise, if that's where you're cruising from. It all depends on the city, obviously. Yeah, Miami, millions of combinations of flights in and out of Miami from all kinds of carriers. Orlando, not as busy as Miami, but incredibly good connections. Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Sometimes you want to check the regional airports. Even if your cruise leaves from Miami, you might find an airline price ticket into Fort Lauderdale that is just so cheap. You do that and take a shuttle bus to your cruise ship in Miami. Money is money, and if it adds up, it adds up, right? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, good point here also from Crash 3X. She's saying, I do know that you have to search for prices incognito. So your computer doesn't keep track of your searches that way when you see the price changes. Folks, if you don't know what this means, incognito internet searching, what you have to do is, I would just look it up on Google. There's a way to figure it out. But on the upper corner, well, I'm going to guess on this side of the computer, but on my, I'm looking at my screen. It's on over here. On the upper right-hand corner of your screen should be a little couple 3 dots. And if you click on that, I believe it gives you an option called incognito search or something like that. And that's where you can go on the internet, not as you on your home computer, but as an anonymous person that isn't on a set computer that's done all these searches to all these airlines over the months and weeks and years. This is a way to search the internet as an anonymous person, and you get the true rate that's being advertised to newbies or first-time visitors to that website, like Expedia or kayak.com or others. Because there are times where you go into AmericanAirlines.com and search for a flight. 4 days later, you go back to the same website, search for that same flight to see if the price has gone down. Hasn't gone down. Never goes down. That computer knows you were here before. American Airlines computer knows that you've been searching for that flight, that time, that departure, that arrival. And they know the price they quoted you the first time. They're not going to start offering you less money. So you go incognito. The computer doesn't know that it's you coming back again. It's someone totally generic. The price of the flight will be whatever the price of the flight is at that time. And it might be $50, $100 less. You don't know about it because the last time you looked on AmericanAirlines.com, they were still quoting you the price they quoted you a month ago. So food for thought. Thank you, CrashX. That's a great tip. That's a really great tip. What else have we got here? Going to make sure I'm caught up to all of my things. Oh, okay. Mark is saying fly into Sanford Airport, much cheaper, 20 minutes from Orlando. This is the thing I was telling you about. When you get when you're doing a search for a flight, they'll offer you. They might say something like, "What airline are you flying into?" You say Orlando. They'll offer you an option. Would you be willing to look for flights in the 50-mile radius of Orlando? Say yes. Oh yeah, yeah. Show me, because you may find a regional airline or airport you never heard of, like Mark is saying here, 20 minutes away, saving all kinds of money because the cost for the airlines to come in and out of Orlando is expensive. It's a very popular airport. It's a very high demand airport. The regionals are hungry for the business. They may have lower landing fees, so they pass it on to you. Kathy is saying, I can't believe the cost of parking at a cruise terminal. A shuttle from the airport might be better. Yes, it might be. Another trick, Kathy, is if you're coming in the night before a cruise and you're spending a night at a hotel, before you when you're looking to book your hotel, what you want to look for, especially if you're driving in, or let's say you're driving in. Oh, this may or may not work, but anyway, it might work for you. If you're driving in to Fort Lauderdale and you're going on a 1-week cruise, you're going to leave your car there a week anyway. You might end up staying one night in a hotel nearby that has a free shuttle from the hotel to the ship, and they offer you a killer deal on the parking rate. They might offer you $10 a day to park instead of $20 a day, or $5 a day, or you spend a night with us before the cruise, spend the night with us after the cruise. We'll give you parking for free. It's all locked security parking. that might be an even better deal, and it takes the stress off of arriving that day or what have you. It all depends how far away you're driving from, obviously. If it's only an hour or two, well, you still have to park your car, right? So you got to do the math, obviously. Let's see here. Crash 3X. I'm flying to Fort Lauderdale. Right on. And that that's might be worth your while. Crash Incognito looks like a Mardi Gras mask in your settings options. Thank you for that again. Kathy is saying my tinfoil hat swears Incognito is super track too. I like that. Oh man, Charles Jordan. Hey, how you doing, Charles? You're here. Hello, Bruce. I'm late as usual. Laugh out loud. Welcome, Charles. We're talking about parking rates at cruise terminals. We're talking about airline deals to get to cruises, how to get around some of these unbelievable prices, all kinds of stuff today. Karen saying, "Hey, Mark, I volunteer when I get to the gate to give up my seat. Does anyone get the same price? Does everyone get the same price? Or if someone holds out, will I also receive the higher price?" Mark, over to you. I did that. Mark is saying I did that at the Hilton in Miami. It was $10 a day. Oh, Mark is talking about parking at the Hilton in Miami. $10 a day. Good deal. Mark, Lost Traveler, you're the American Airlines expert. What's the deal? If you volunteer at the gate, and then they're offering all kinds of deals to everybody else, will you get the lousy deal, or will you get the best deal, or is it all separate? I'm kind of curious about that. Kathy is just saying here, Bruce, you're right. I forgot some of the port hotels offer lower free parking with shuttle. Yeah, you all have such great tips. Yeah, I tell you, my way back. This is way back. My mother used to live here in Creston, and she would take flights out of Spokane, Washington. Southwest Airlines, and she would come to visit me in Palm Springs, California, or Palm Desert, where I used to live one time. And I would have her fly into Ontario, and I'd pick her up in Ontario because that's where Southwest would fly to. It's the closest airport they would fly into at that time. And I could get her such a price, such a deal on Southwest Airlines out of Spokane. She would connect in Oakland and then Oakland right to Ontario. But the kicker was she needed to park her car. And she spent the night in Spokane. It was about 2 hours, 30 minutes from this location here. She spent the night in a hotel, and they had a free shuttle to the airport and free parking for as long as you're away. And the only requirement was spend a night in the hotel on the way back. And that's what she'd do. She would do that because she'd be flying for her 4 or 5 hour connection, whatever. And she would spend the night in Spokane. She would do shopping the next day down there because they have a Costco. And then she would come home and she'd have free parking for the week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks that she'd be down to visit us. That was a great deal. So yeah, there's a real good deal. Okay, Mark the Lost Traveler answering Karen. Yes, you will get a bad deal the longer. Okay, you will get a bad deal the longer you hold out, the better the deal. Okay, so they'll hold out the better. But when I worked the gate, I would give the better deal, the best deal first, and work my way down. Oh wow. Mark, I've decided right now, I don't care what you say. I'm not playing poker with you. No way. No way. You got me there. I would be a sucker if I were playing poker with you. You'd beat me every time. Charles Jordan, per Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Okay. Mark the Lost Traveler, which would piss off the professional holdouts. Yes, it would. Okay, the person that is a professional trying to get the deal of deals, they would lose every time with Mark because the price would go down the longer this game went on. Well, okay, now, Mark, I got to say, if the professional is a real professional and you start off at $800, they got to know that's a pretty high offer. How much higher can it really get for a flight? But then again, who knows? But that's funny. Well, it all depends on the agent and the passenger. My attitude on it is I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I'm happy to go up to the gate attendant and speak with her privately or him on the side and just, hey, look. If the price is right, if you guys need seats, let me know. I mean, my wife and I are here, and we'd like to go home tonight, but you got a decent deal for us. We'd be interested. Now, if there's negotiations going on already between the two of us, great. But if it's the right if the agent is going to treat me the way I think the agent's going to treat me, I came up politely and I'm easy going about it. I think that ticket agent's going to go, the gate agent's going to go, yeah, I'll take care of you because I need 6 seats and I know I've got 2 over here. I'll take care of you because why would I want to hoodwink you when I'm giving somebody else a better deal that was an asshole? Makes no sense. But I don't know. What can I say? The world today is a different world. Mark saying, which would piss off the whole house. Charles Jordan, I asked last year about leaving your car at a hotel that didn't have a fenced-in lot or supervised lot, and they highly advised against, highly against it. Yeah, that's right. Charles, the thing about the thing about leaving your car with, say, a hotel, you want to be sure that they're offering secured parking, security guard, patrols, locked something, right? As someone just said earlier, great deal out of Miami at the Hilton. Got a great deal there, and I'm sure it was secured parking. Mark is saying, yes, we will do that as gate agents. You go to the gate agent, and you're the easygoing passenger, and you coming off as the nice person. They're gonna look after you because their day is long enough as it is. They're under enough pressure as it is, and they got to get this plane out of here, and then they got the next one coming, and they got passengers all day to deal with, and it would just be a pleasure to have easygoing passengers that are willing to make a deal to getting bumped. You make my life easy, I'm going to make your life great. So yeah, it works. It absolutely works. Charles saying they said that they have cars broken into nightly left at these hotels. Yeah, again, if the hotel has it's wide open parking and your car is going to be sitting there for a week or 10 days, it's going to have dust on it. The windshield's going to be dusty. That's a dead giveaway to a ne'er-do-well type of person that, hey, this car hasn't been opened, hasn't been touched in a week. Gee, I wonder if there's something in it I can steal. There's no one walking around here. There are no, if it's in a northern climate and there's snow and there are no footprints anywhere near the car, that's a dead giveaway that the car is kind of available for break-in. You do want to leave your car with a lot in a scenario where there is at least security, fenced in something, or underground, or a parkade or something like that. Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. uh, Mark's got another comment here. I love this one. Nice person always wins at the in the airlines, but if you want to be an ass, your bags are going to LAX first before Miami. Oh yeah. Oh, and there's the thing that a lot of people may not really realize, that gate agents are very powerful people. They can make good things and bad things happen. And there are folks out there who pride themselves on giving other people a hard time, and they just feel really good about themselves because 6 hours ago I really gave it to that gate agent back in Atlanta. Where the hell is my bag? They're in Miami and there's no bag. It's in LA. Yeah, it just mysteriously got keyed in incorrectly, and boy, it just ended up in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it just doesn't pay to be nasty. It just doesn't pay. Be nice, people. Be nice. Okay, that's a good one. Well, there you go. There's the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it. When you're on a cruise ship and you've got a complaint, you're going to the front desk to talk about whatever's wrong with your room, or something's happened to your stuff, or like your room. Be nice, be calm, be polite, be forgiving, and they will bend over backwards to help you. They will try to find ways to appease you. Even if they can't help you with a direct issue, they might make it a little easier with something else. Maybe they can throw you a dinner for two at the specialty restaurant, or some, I don't know what. They'll find some way to somehow, if they're at fault, something happened that they were wrong about and you were really good about it, it goes a long way. But if you're going in there with the shields up and the stun gun is not set to stun, it's set to kill, you're going to have a tough time because these folks they've argued more than you've argued. They know how to handle it. They've been through it all. They've heard all the stories from all the other attendants. Airline gate agents, they have something in common. They talk to each other when they're alone. When they're on a coffee break, they compare stories about their passengers today. I've got a doozy for you, is how the day goes. And like Mark says, have I got stories? I got stories that'll make your hair stand on end. This is the thing you've got to understand, folks. We are at the disadvantage. We're not the pros. They're the pros. The folks on the cruise ship, the folks at the airport, they're the professionals. This is all they do. This is their job. So don't try to outdo them. Just be as easygoing as possible, and a fair arrangement will come out, I'm sure, and it might be better than you ever thought possible, and you just kind of go from there. The power is unbelievable. Doreen is here. Hi, Bruce from Nova Scotia. Doreen, you made it towards the end, but you made it. Mark the Lost Traveler. Oh, your bag tag must have fallen off. Accidents happen. You know, it's a shame about your baggage. Oh, man. Yeah, it can be a bit inconvenient, shall we say, from time to time. Oh man, I don't know. There's no Mark is saying there's no story we haven't heard, so don't try it. It won't work. There you go. There you go. You think about this. If you're talking to a ticket agent or a gate agent or ticket agent at the airport, they've done that job for 10 years. They've been at the airport for 10 years, 5 days a week, with their holiday time. They have experience that you'll never have. They have knowledge you'll never have. They're surrounded by people who also have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years experience doing this. You're dead meat. You haven't got a prayer. So be the nice person, and nice things will happen to you, because gate agents, they get enough stress as it is. And if you can make their job that day a little easier to take, especially if they just had an experience 2 hours ago with someone else on the last couple of flights, and now you come along and you're a breath of fresh air, I'll tell you, you'll make their day, and they'll make your day. It really works that way. Absolutely. Yeah, the story's just, I've never heard any story. What a deal. Okay, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I think it's been a great day again. I love this. Love doing these dailies. I hope you're enjoying them. Tell your friends. The more people we can get to join, even the better. It is building. I watch the stats every day, and more folks are following these dailies every day. Yesterday's daily, my goodness, we had a record number of views in the hour and 10 minutes or so I was doing it. And then all night last night, the views just kept coming. And all morning this morning, before this one started, that one we did yesterday has just been piling up the hours. Tons of people coming into it, because it makes for good information even a month from now. Everything we're discussing here is perpetual information. It's what we call an evergreen video. This video becomes an evergreen video because it's something new for someone who's never heard it before. And we're talking about what's going on in the cruise business, the airline business, the travel business as a whole, and I love it. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. Mark the Lost Traveler, like, I need to get on this plane, and I'm going to a funeral. I'm like, wow, so does everyone else on this. You're reminding me of a George Costanza show on Seinfeld, when George Costanza he wanted to go on a flight and he had to go to a memorial service. And he was trying to get a discount on the airfare, and he wanted a copy of the death certificate to get the discount for the airfare. And he's asking the priest at the memorial service, when they're having some snacks, he's asking for a copy of the death certificate. I mean, so inappropriate. Yeah, Mark, you saw that. I'm sure every airline employee told every other airline employee, have you seen the episode on Seinfeld where Costanza is trying to get a deal on a cruise because he had to go to a funeral, and he's lying through his teeth, and they caught him red-handed? I believe that might have been the double dip episode where he double dipped the chip. You can't double dip the chip. Oh, it's like putting the whole chip in your mouth. Oh my God. I love Seinfeld episode. Oh yeah, the stories are endless, and I welcome all of your stories if you have them, folks. If you can type them in on the limited space you have, fantastic. It makes for a great conversation. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern, I'm on for my Saturday edition of this live chat. And the floor is open to questions and answers and comments. And I welcome all of you to come around and any other friends you have to join in. I'm sure it'll be fun. And I hope you had a good week this week. And if you don't join me tomorrow, I have to hope you have a great weekend this weekend. And we'll start again on Monday, of course, next Monday, 5 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday. I like to do these live chats unless I lose my voice and can't do it anymore. Like I say, it's been just great. Really enjoying it. And the videos are doing really well once they're posted. So this one will be posting in about 30 minutes or so. And I'm sure a lot of folks will get a kick out of today's video because it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching me today and letting me know where you're at. And welcome new viewers. And we'll catch you next time. So this is Bruce saying, give me a thumbs up today if you're watching this video. Subscribe to my channel if you know anyone that should subscribe. Tell them to subscribe. I need the subscribers. Everyone's saying goodbye now. Goodbye, Mark. Have a good one. Kathy's saying stay well, everyone. Seems like the whole country has the flu. Take care, all you guys. This is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce saying good night, goodbye, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. See ya.